I'm Haitian. Why? Where you from? What's your background? You American? Dirty black American?
Why you say that?
Because that's what y'all are. Dirty black American.
She just said that.
I did. A dirty black American. I sure did. Because that's what y'all are.
Why you? I'm saying, why would you fix your lips and say that though? I'm confused.
Because that's just my experience. Like,
Bruh.
What's going on about this Afro think tank? I'm going to address the Haitian lady that was talking trash about African Americans. They called us dirty African Americans because a lot of the FBA cult members, they are under the impression that Pan-Africans pretend like we don't see that, right? Their argument is that Pan-Africans try to hold African Americans accountable without holding other Africans accountable, right? And so they think that we're being biased or whatnot. And what they're missing is that we're not being biased. And we do address these individuals, right? It's just that we address it in a way that's more mature, right? More understanding of the whole picture instead of just isolating it based off what that person made us feel, right? At that moment because they said something. And we put things in context. Because the thing is, like FBA right now, right? And their leader, non-leader, Tariq Nasheed, has been complaining. His gripe is that African and FBA, their gripe, this is our main thing is African people and Caribbeans come and they talk trash about African Americans. So they are saying they are responding to the Caribbeans in Africa. They're like, they finally had enough, right? And they feel like the disrespect has gotten to the point to where it's like, you know what? You guys come over here. You enjoy the culture that we create. You guys enjoy the environment that our ancestors bled and died and slaved for and fought for, only to disrespect us and call us names and things like that. We are done. We are delineating from the rest of you. If y'all don't like us, if y'all don't see us as equal to you or brothers and sisters, F y'all, right? So ultimately, FBA are upset, right? These certain people who call themselves FBA are upset at the trash talking, okay? They're upset at being rejected by people they know are their brothers and sisters. Here's the thing, because FBA would not be so offended if the people who were doing all this were from other countries or from other races. They're not offended that white folks continuously do this to us at all. That the institutions and mechanisms, and they don't just talk trash, they activate their trash on us. But that doesn't hit as hard because we know they're white, or, you know, Asians do it, it's like they're Asians, whatever. But when a black person does it, it hurts the most, right? It's like, how are you gonna, you know what, if I'm not you, you're not me, right? And so, and for the sake of Pan-Africanism, I'm gonna show you how you handle someone like that. First, let's look at the context. There's a black, light-skinned Haitian woman, right, who went on the Daily Wrap-Up Show. The Daily Wrap-Up Show is a quasi-Manosphere show, which a bunch of men who regularly are adversarial towards women, right? And as of late, they've pivoted from being Manosphere-ish towards women, towards other black ethnic groups. There are another group of Manosphere dudes that went from hating on black women under the guise of fairness towards men, right, and equality towards men, to hating on black people from other countries, right? This is their grift, their new thing. So this Haitian woman, who clearly has been raised in America, her aesthetic, her mannerisms was of a black African-American woman. Off the break. She already had a hostile attitude, or she was already on the defensive before she even sat down. Because she knew going into there, she was going to be bombarded. And I'm just telling you, this is real. She was going to be bombarded with a bunch of African Americans questioning where she come from. Because the first question they ask, where you from? Because they want to qualify or disqualify the words of this person based off where they're from. That's a white supremacist tactic that black men are currently using on their shows, right? And if you notice, shows like the Daily Wrap-Up Crew, they'll mostly have women because they won't have this same argument with a bunch of African men on their, you know, they're not going to get this adversarial with a bunch of African men, but they'll do this with women because it goes along with their genre of talking trash or being adversarial to women, and is a, you know, to kill two birds with one stone when they can get a woman from another country, right? So she called us dirty Americans. Now, she's in America, enjoying America, right? But she said dirty Americans. And she said it, and she wanted all the smoke. Clearly, she wanted all the smoke, right? Now, obviously, right, she's wrong. Obviously, she's ignorant. Obviously she's xenophobic and hateful, right? But let's ask, why did she come on there xenophobic, hateful? Is it because she knew she was coming to, she was going on a platform where they were going to be adversarial towards her, so she just decided to get the party started? Or maybe they paid her to say that because it would drum up controversy for the daily wrap-up show, because they need it, because their viewership has been going down as they had to pivot to xenophobia from misogyny, right? So, especially with Pan-Africanism being such a bigger movement, even though it doesn't pay as well, the sentiment in the black community is unity and togetherness and coming togetherness. So these little niche genres on social media where people perpetuate diaspora wars, they may be getting paid temporarily in the short term, but it's not really popular at all, right? But if you notice, the demographics of these men who go for the Manosphere to the Xenosphere, right? That's what she be calling it, the Xenosphere and shit, right? If you notice, if you just take a look, I'm trying to look at these people, all right? I want you to look at every host of every Manosphere show, podcast, right? Reaction channel. If you just look at them, all right? And you take all of them, put them in the real world, in a circular table, the VIP section, right? What part of real society would they be a part of? What would we be calling them in the real world? If we was in high school, where would they be sitting in the cafeteria? Where would they be at? What group would they be with? Think about it. It's mostly a bunch of middle-aged, fat, bald, undesirable men that are projecting their insecurities and jealousies towards the people that have rejected them. And they found a way to make money. The ultimate revenge of the nerds, right? And so people who've been rejected, these same dudes that have been rejected, coming up. That's why they have these shows talking trash about women. Because only women, dudes who don't get it complain about not getting it. Because if you're getting it, you're not complaining about it, right? Like for instance, right now in the Manosphere, we have a bunch of dudes who are very much concentrated on what Anton Daniels is doing with his penis, with other women, all right? And even though it's a gossip thing that usually, is left for women to do, because women gossip. I like seeing that, they're going to gossip. That's their realm. Men are doing it like women. A lot of female energy there. If you know what I mean? Come on, guys. Come on. You see. We all see it. We all trying to be political. We know. Come on. We know, right? Why they do what they do. Because in the real world, where they would be sitting, what group they would be with, right? So you got this Haitian chick, right? And as a Pan-African, I put all ignorant xenophiles in the same category. I don't care if you're from Haiti, Dominican Republic, America. If you are a hateful person and you're black and you hate your brother and sister, you go in the same box. So FBA, this Haitian woman, any disrespectful Caribbean, some of those South Africans, some Nigerians, some Nigerian content creators who think they're better than everybody else while enjoying everything African Americans have provided for them, right? While because a lot of Nigerians, they're very they have ego issues, especially those Igbos, right? Igbos, business ego issues. Yorubas, they have scholastic ego issues, right? They all got that shit, right? But that black woman clearly grew up in America, and people probably made fun of her for being Haitian. She's probably not a good dozen shooter, Joner, and she's not that type, right? And Haitian being a point of difference is something that people, make fun of her for, right? I'm sure they made fun of her for being light-skinned. They made fun of her for being Haitian. They made fun of her for having rolls on her neck. They made fun of her. I'm sure they made fun of all kind of stuff, right? She's probably not that good at it, and she's pretty much pissed off of it. But these African Americans who are currently now pissed off because they say they have reached the limit of all the trash talking that they have received from continental Africans, for the most part, most of them don't even know any. right? You talking about these Midwest and California African Americans who don't hang around, did not grow up with Caribbeans, right? They don't know. They hang around with white people and the black folks from that community. They don't know anything about Caribbeans. They're getting their sentiment and their feelings from offline, from watching other people, right? It's not based off something, their own personal experience, right, at all. And, so, the Daily Wrap-Up crew, the lead dude, his face says everything I need to know. His forehead, all right, the way he do his hair, his whole mannerisms tell me everything I need to know. I ain't got to say, come on, guys, we know. The Manosphere and Red Pill community are full of dudes who were put in the friend zone for one reason or another and can never get out that shit. All right, and they could never get out that friend zone, right? So the whole situation was going to be hostile. So she came in with the smoke because she knew she was about to get the smoke. And that's exactly what the Daily Wrap-Up show wanted. But they wanted her to say something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they told her to say that, right? But under what context is she saying dirty? Is she saying stinky, smelly? She know that's not true. She grew up here. She know that's not true. So what basis is behind what she says? She just sound like a mad black woman. She just sound like an angry black woman in an angry, hostile environment who decided she was going to start firing rounds off before it started coming at her. Because she knows she's in an environment full of a group of people who like to talk shit. African Americans are the biggest shit talking black people on the planet. We literally have a genre. We have a social genre where we sit around and we talk shit about each other. It don't matter if you light skinned, they're gonna make a light skin joke. If you dark skinned, they're gonna make a dark skin joke. If you got an accent, they're gonna make an accent joke. If your head big, they're gonna make a big head joke. If your forehead is too big, they're gonna make a forehead joke. If your forehead is too small, they're gonna make a small forehead joke. If your nose is humongous, they're gonna make a big nose joke. If your nose is tiny, they're gonna make a tiny nose joke. Whatever they can find about you, they're gonna joke about that thing, because that's how the game is played, right? Right? And so African Americans, the ones that are complaining about the diaspora clearly were not that good at shooting the dozens. They're the ones who got targeted because they decided to laugh at two other people joking, and because they are recognized as the weak ones in the group, they start to get joked on, right? And then once somebody get going, they start flowing, then they're ripping you up in front of everybody, you're being embarrassed. These are the ones who they don't know how to talk shit back. That's why if you notice, look on TikTok, look on Instagram, look on YouTube, look at the way these FBA talk. The people who call themselves FBA, because the Daily Wrap-Up crew, they call themselves FBA. And they're not the sharpest tools in the drawer, for sure. Right? And if you listen to their arguments, it's all based off personal emotional feelings that they're feeling at that moment. And then they project that as data, right? As words to be taken seriously. All right? As they make themselves as thought leaders, even though the thoughts they're having is based off the feelings, based off their life experiences and insecurities. Right? So all this false narratives are being spread around by the rejects of the community, right? So I'm pretty sure that continental Africans and Caribbeans, when they come to America, when they went into the high schools, when they went into the middle schools, wherever they started, right? They probably didn't speak the same English we spoke. That's automatic. You're automatically going to talk trash about their accent, right? You find out where they're from, you're automatically going to talk trash about them. You're going to pick on them because they're new kids on the block. African Americans, children have religiously, culturally greeted other children from other parts of the world like trash when they integrate within their system. Now, do we do it on purpose? Yes. Okay. Is it a form of testing to see what you are about? Is it a social test? Yes. Is it usually made with malice? No. Usually they're just playing around. They're just joking, right? But does it get serious and does it get out of hand? Yes, because children get out of hand, all right? If I were to take an African American and take him to a school in Europe, would they deal and suffer with the same exact things? Yes. If I were to take an African American child and go to the Caribbean and they go into the schools, would they suffer the same thing? Yes. They'd be called a Yankee. Their accent would be made fun of. Something about them would be made fun of. Their differences would be highlighted. Because when children talk trash and they're trying to socialize with each other, they just look for the obvious difference and they make fun about it. The problem is we have a bunch of adults who've made it to adulthood, right? They are males, but they are not men. They have not matured to the level to where they are men. They didn't pass any rites of passage to become a man. They're just aged into it, but they're not men, right? But they think they are men, and they think they're entitled to all these things from women. And now they think they're entitled from women and all other POCs and all other black people because they are somehow special now. They've created a special place for themselves where they feel entitled and they complain and all that, because everybody's just complaining, but they're not doing anything, and they're not taking consideration their part in it. African Americans who call themselves FBA do not take into consideration that they are the ones who started the trash talking from the very beginning. They're the ones who have been harassing Africans and Caribbeans as they move into their community, because Africans and Caribbeans move into our communities, right? And what do you expect if somebody grows up in the African American community? They will grow up with the culture that they grew up with. It belongs to them. If I'm from New York and I go to North Carolina, right? If I move to North Carolina, but I'm from New York, I moved there since I was 7 years old, but I'm in North Carolina, I grew up the rest. I'm a North Carolinian. I'm a pick up the accent. I'm going to pick up the mannerisms. I'm going to pick up the swag. I'm going to start listening to the music. Even though I'm from New York, I'm going to pick this up. Now, people will make fun and remind me that I'm from New York every now and then when they come out. But for the most part, I'll be from Carolina. You can't tell me I'm not from Carolina. If I grew up in Carolina, but I'm from New York. And so that's traveling from one state to another state. So if you were from the Caribbean and you are from Africa and you come here early and you grew up here, you're just as American as anybody else. You're just as African American because you grew up in the African American experience. It's a little rougher from you because you had to integrate at the beginning, but you had to grow up in it. You are it. That is your experience. That culture belongs to you because you grew up in it. It married you, right? And just because you come from somewhere else doesn't mean anything. Culture, DNA and culture, you can be anything and indulge and be a part of some other culture. Culture is not something that's just attached to your DNA, even though the creators of that culture should be recognized, right? The creators and the root of that culture always should be recognized and honored and put at the forefront. But anybody can practice any culture. White people from around the world practice black culture. Asian people practice black culture. We don't have no smoke for that. But when other African people come here and practice the culture from their own brothers and sisters, all of a sudden these African people in America got problems with it. It doesn't make sense. The hypocrisy in their argument is ridiculous, right? And so we can continue to have these conversations to where we just complain for another, FBA complains for another 5 years about how somebody making fun of their head being big or something like that. Or making fun of them for whatever reason. And they can pretend like African Americans are not the biggest shit talkers on the planet. We can pretend like we don't have a whole hip hop musical genre where we stand in front of each other and do our best to talk and tear each other down intellectually on a stage, and people don't get paid to go do that, and people don't pay to see that. We can act like we don't enjoy our comedians who literally just stand-up comedians who literally talk shit about everybody, including the people in the crowd. We can act like people don't get front row seats just to get talked shit about by one of their favorite comedians. We can act like we don't enjoy and indulge in violence and acrimonious altercations on TV. We can act like America's not a violent society and that we don't entertain ourselves with violence and chaos and drama. When all of our social media YouTubers, all they do is find the next person to beef with for revenue dollars, or find the next person to talk shit about for YouTube dollars. We can act like that's not the case, right? You can act like your leader doesn't get online every single day and does nothing but talk shit about Africans in a joking way. He's shooting the dozens. He's just joking. He's just comedy. You can act like that's not a thing while pretending to be a victim at the same time. You can act like it, but that's never going to get the conversation to move forward. You see, I guarantee you, if I was in that room and I recognize the hostility that she was walking into and the hostility she spat out, I guarantee you, if I was inserted in that conversation, I would be able to be mature enough to represent African Americans, defend us, and also dive into why does she feel that way, and then show her that, you know, that's just an emotion she's feeling based off an experience that she had, and it is not based in any reality. You see, we have to use our intellect to move further. And what's the point of having conversations if they don't get anywhere? You know, everybody want all these little people want to be having debate. Everyone want me to go debate all these people, but it wouldn't be a debate because it wouldn't be a debate because I'm talking about facts. I'm talking at a higher level. I can't talk to people who just want to shoot the dozens because their feelings is hurt. I can't go into echo chambers where people are just reinforcing their insecurities, their biases, and their thin skin. Because if you can talk shit, you should be able to take it. The amount of shit that you talk, you should be able to take that same amount back. And once you reach your limit, that's when you should stop, right? So, you know, because if not, anytime somebody who's disgruntled, who's pissed off, whatever the context may be, says something about African Americans, you know, if you're thin-skinned, you're gonna blow a gasket trying to defend yourself. Oh, now I'm married at billions of people because of what one person said, who's more closely aligned culturally to me than anybody else I'm mad at. And that's the truth. And we also, as African Americans, understand that we're just as ignorant about them as they are about us. And it's not our fault. We know whose fault it is. It just seems like we don't want to blame them fully or hold them accountable, but we still want to blame each other, right, for the misinformation, disinformation, and propaganda that has been seared in our brains over the last couple hundred years. Right? So, you know, when I see that woman talk about, I'm not going to get mad and clan up with my African Americans like, yeah, we need to talk shit about the Haitians because of that one Haitian girl who went on a show that was hostile and she became hostile because she knew what it was about. I don't even know why she went on the show. Maybe she was friends with one of them and she was reluctant about it. Or maybe she herself is a narcissist and she just likes to be in that. Some people like to be in misery. Some people like to be in arguments and shit like that. For all we know, she's probably attracted one of them African-American men. I guarantee you that Haitian woman dates African-American women, African-American dudes. I bet you she deals with African-American dudes all the time. I bet you her last boyfriend was probably an African-American who probably cheated on her with somebody and then she pissed off. You know, a lot of Nigerians and a lot of African Americans, women who hate on their own or hate on the other group is because they was dating one of them and they got screwed over, so they'll F them all. We know how emotional women can be. Right? So if you're a real man, you're not going to put yourself on the same, especially in these type of conversations. You're not going to take what a woman says and then meet yourself with her, meet her feminine energy with your feminine energy. A lot of these men are meeting feminine women with feminine energy instead of meeting it with masculine energy. You understand what I'm saying? You can see it from their body languages. You can see how they jump on certain words that say, you can just see it. It's a bunch of females talking about each other online. It's just some of these females got balls, all right? And some of these females are organic. That's all it is. But yeah, that shit don't hurt my feelings. That Haitian, no African, first of all, African can't tell me I'm not African, right? Because there's a lot of these uppity Africans who come from one country, right? Act like they speak for an entire continent, which I can surely point to countries in that same continent that wouldn't piss on him if they was on fire. Yet they pretend like they represent the entire continent because they want that whole Africa to back them up when they talk shit about the great African American they're competing with in their own head, right? I ain't worried about them. They European. They're European Africans, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not worried about the Africans who get good visas and come to America, enjoy everything in America's got to offer because of the sacrifices of the Africans, us, right? And then shit on African Americans. Right, because they got a really nice visa because they was really good at their, you know, in school when they was back in their home. Right, I don't compare continental Africans who have the money and ability to move halfway across the world, buy houses and get decent jobs. I don't compare them with the average African American. I will compare an average African American who works every day with an average Nigerian who works every day. Most African Americans can't just get up and go move to Africa. And most Africans can't just get up and go and move to America. These are two different classes of people. I put class against class. I'm an African American who's not rich in America. But I go to Nigeria and I'm balling. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Now you can't compare me to the average my equivalent over there. They can't do that because they don't got the same leverage. You know? So I put people in their economic class. And I based it, what you say, that's what, when I put you in a category, is based off what you say and how you act and what you do. Not based off what your ethnicity is, what your accent is, which European language do you speak. Because French, Portuguese, Spanish, English, them are all European languages. You understand? So if you speak in one of them, right, you got dominated by somebody that was white, right? Your programming is because somebody was white programmed you. Therefore, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'll give you some grace, right? And I always go to why, because I'm not going to sit here and have a round robin, useful argument with a woman saying I'm dirty, right? Without getting to the point of why you think that is the case, or what compelled you to say that. And we can get to that. See, that's when you move the conversation forward, when you get into the weeds, when you're actually progressing within a conversation or a debate, because the debates are based off ideas and you put forth your ideas, and you debate whether which one is the best way forward, with a monitor in the middle that can question equally both people with both those ideas. Those are debates. What's happening on social media are arguments, not debates. I've never seen a debate, right? A proper debate in Black YouTube. You just go into somebody's camp talking shit in their echo chamber, and then in return they come to your camp and they argue in your echo chamber. That's not a debate. Those are just arguments. Useless conversations that do nothing but waste 3-4 hours of somebody's time who sat there and actually watched the whole shit because they ain't got nothing else to do because nothing on TV. All right, that's about it. All right, so yeah, I as a Pan-African, I'm above all that. I recognize that there are continental Africans who are ignorant and who are uppity, who are selfish, who talk shit. And they don't mind talking shit about African Americans. And they're going to do it. And they're always going to do it. And there's always going to be people like that. And I will never let somebody affect me. When you're in your frame, you don't let other people's, projections affect you. You have to master your own feelings. Master yourself. When you master yourself, there's nothing somebody can say to piss you off. Like somebody can call me a nigga. That's not going to get me to go over there and ruin my life by dispatching them of their life. You're not going to get me to ruin what I got going on today and tomorrow by messing up my schedule to get me to punch you in the face, and I got to deal with the police and police reports because you decided to call me a nigga. Right? If you do that, you're looking for a reaction. And if I give you that reaction, you won. Even if you win, meaning you getting your ass whooped, you still won. Because by me whooping your ass, I validated why you called me that. I reinforced the stereotypes you got in your head by me beating your ass. Right? Instead, I'm going to piss you off by not giving you the response you're looking for. And then you just realize you used the biggest token you got, and you ain't get a prize for it. And some of y'all men who keep calling yourselves men, y'all gotta learn how to not react. The fact that y'all react to what women are saying, and you're supposed to, if you know women, they're gonna say whatever they're gonna say. So that's how I know a lot of you do these social media dudes, they're not men. They're males, they're boys who've grown up and aged into a legal adulthood, but they're not real men. Because no real man's gonna sit there and really process and go through a bunch of this and that because it's based off what a woman said because she was mad. Because if that's the case, man, you just gonna be effed up forever. You gonna have a damn heart attack. Anyway, y'all guys tell me what y'all think about this in the comment sections. Afro Think Tank, learn something, teach something. I'm out.
I'm Haitian. Why? Where you from? What's your background? You American? Dirty black American?
Why you say that?
Because that's what y'all are. Dirty black American.
She just said that.
I did. A dirty black American. I sure did. Because that's what y'all are.
I'm saying, why would you fix your lips to say that, though? I'm confused.
Because that's just my experience. Like,
A Haitian American woman went on the Daily Wrap-Up Crew podcast calling black Americans dirty black Americans. And I'm sitting here wondering what we did to deserve that kind of disrespect in the first place.
Listen, man, it's even more to it, dog. Listen, dog. Back then it wasn't sweet, man. It wasn't sweet at all. I mean, Yankees used to come through and torture us, dog. Literally every day. School. That's where it starts at school. Americans versus Haitians. Once they find out you were Haitian, that was it. They go by from your name. Once they could have picked up on or your accent, they was at you daily, every day. From PE, you had grown men like us. Just imagine us go picking on little kids every day. I'm gonna say it like this. Even when I went to elementary school, Edison Park. To get to Edison Park, you had to go through Edison projects. There ain't nothing but black Americans there. You had grown men beating on us as elementary kids, just going to school. Lady Haiti all over here. For you come in here. You got to make it all the way to get here. For you got to go all the way around, go to 71st. So we devised a plan. We go there, 30 of us going together. So whoever get caught. Whoever make it. But we did it with numbers. And that was just elementary. And that was early 80s, 81, 82. When we got to middle school, it was, we started to fight back a little bit. And when we got towards the end of middle school, that's when it really turned over. We really went to fighting back. I got jumped in middle school. That's why I went to school with all of them who did it. So I was coming from school, I was picking up my brothers. So I'm going to go pick them up in front of the school. They say, hey, they'll go Haitian right there. Go get them. So they listened, they jumped me right in front of the school, right? Literally in front of the school. I fought as much as I can. I just made up my mind, I made a decision. He gonna get me, but I'm gonna get one. So I beat that one till I can, until they got the best of me. Then they stopped jumping me. I went and picked up my brothers and went home. I ain't gonna get the way they were taking shoes back then. If you had some nice shoes, this was gone, boy. Edison Park was nothing nice, boy, back then, especially cutting through Edison projects. That was a common thing. Like, if you was not a fighter, or not someone, a violent person, like, you just trying to get by, go to school, go to work, they'll step, you Haitian? No, I'm Jamaican, I'm Bahamian, I'm Trinidadian. They'll say anything but Haitian. Like I always said, my generation, the one before that started it, and the one after me, they finished it. To this, those 3 generations is why Haitians be proud to be Haitians. Americans had a thing, you Haitian, that's it. We don't want to deal with you. It's changed. Everybody said, I remember, oh, y'all Haitian eat cat. You can't find one American right now that don't eat Haitian food. But we used to get picked on, oh, y'all used to eat cat. My generation, the generation before me, and the one after me, there's a reason why Haitians to this day can lift their heads up and say they're Haitians. And these are facts. You can ask anyone in my generation.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such an extent that you bleach? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.